Welcome to the City Manager's Report. The City Manager's Report is your preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda and an update from your Oshkosh City Manager. Your hosts, Emily Mikowski of Oshkosh Community Media and City Manager Mark Roloff.
Joining us on your City Manager's Report. I'm your host, Emily Mikowski, as always joined by your City Manager, Mark Roloff. And as usual, we'll devote the first half of the show to some current events, things going on around Oshkosh right now, and then take a little break. When we come back, we'll go over the council meeting agenda for Tuesday, April 8th at 6 p.m. So as always, thanks again for joining us today, Mark.
Great to be here, Emily.
Now, we have a few kind of recap update kind of things to talk about for the first half of the show here. First of those being State of the City. We had another wonderful turnout for the State of the City last Monday. What can you tell us about this year's theme?
Well, we're really excited. Great turnout. The theme was collaboration, and we wanted to highlight successes we've had and that we're currently underway with community groups. And we highlighted so many different partners that we have, and it really shows that the way you can succeed on so many initiatives is through collaboration, whether it's developing the hotel, and the partners that put together the hotel, or with the community foundation, or education, or the business community. All those things are relevant. And then, of course, we had the City Exhibit Expo where we talked to a lot of the neighborhood groups. A lot of neighborhood group discussion was going on. That was probably a really neat outcome, talking about ways in which neighborhoods can create a neighborhood association, some of the advantages of that. So those were all the big highlights of the event. Of course, you gotta watch it because we partnered with the Oshkosh Symphony Orchestra as part of our theme to use the symphony as an analogy for what we do with collaboration and how the individual pieces are all wonderful by themselves, but as a whole, they make for beautiful music. And I thought it was a fun analogy. I think the public enjoyed it, and we're really pleased with the theme we're able to set for this year, whether it's the fundraising effort for the mobile command post or the initiatives we're working on with the business community to improve our development process. All those things work in tandem to make so many initiatives that we have work so well.
Yes, and throughout your presentation, you really covered, you went through a lot of them right there, but the range of topics was really wide this year, I felt. You kind of got into each specific area within the city, which was very unique.
Right. Well, we have so many different types of partners. You can talk about partnerships, but the educational community with the university, and we even mentioned that we're only going to talk about one, but we have great partnerships with the Oshkosh School District and the Fox Valley Technical College, as well as our other governmental entities. And then, of course, we talked a lot about how council and staff have been collaborating to help improve the decision-making process for council and improve employee engagement. So some of it was tying back to the strategic plan, which was the focus of last year's State of the City, and saying, look what we've done with what we talked about the previous year. We've gone beyond what we talked about with the strategic plan and actually putting these things into play and actually implementing them. And that's it. If you have a plan that you don't implement, you're just talking. So we're really pleased with the results and happy that we had a great turnout and a lot of enthusiasm generated for a lot of the initiatives we got underway.
Yes, and like you said, Oshkosh Symphony Orchestra was a really nice little touch to the presentation as well.
We very much appreciate all the work that they did. They were fantastic.
Yes, and the State of the City will be airing on City Cable 10 starting next week. You can also watch it online at oshkoshcommunitymedia.org. So moving on to our next subject here, the election took place the day after State of the City here on Tuesday. Can you give us a little recap of that?
Sure. There were 6 candidates on the ballot. 2 of the incumbents, Councilors Steve Cumming and Deputy Mayor Herman, were reelected, and 1 new person was elected to council, Carolyn Pansky. So those are the 3 folks that the public voted in, and they'll start their term of office on Tuesday, April 15th.
Yes, and that council meeting is at noon, which I didn't realize until today when I was looking at the schedule. So
yeah, what happens is that the previous council is there, or the current council, I should say, they meet, and it's really more of a ceremonial where they adjourn and then the new council's immediately seated and sworn in, and then they go through some procedural issues, where people are going to sit during the meetings, and some of the council rules for the following year, electing the deputy mayor, those types of procedural organizational things that are exclusive to the council. They go through those things, but they do it so that it doesn't take up the next council meeting. They can just get it done, and then it's all set in place so that when they meet for their first full meeting as the new council on April 22nd, all those details are worked out and they're immediately hitting the ground running.
Well, it's definitely exciting to start a new chapter in the council and have a fresh face on there too. So we'll look forward to seeing Caroline on the council this year. So moving on, another kind of hot topic here. Actually, yesterday, Governor Walker was in Oshkosh signing a TIF legislation bill, Senate Bill 252 at Schwab Properties. What exactly is this bill going to be doing?
Well, I had the opportunity to talk to the governor for a few moments because sometimes when you're lobbying or advocating for these bills, you're usually trying to influence them just towards one way and in terms of why it's important on a state level. But when the governor was here, we were at Schwab Properties, which overlooks the South Shore redevelopment area. And the reason the governor chose Schwab Properties was because they asked us for different areas where he could sign the bill. And we described, here are certain areas that you may want to talk about. And I think he was intrigued by the fact that this is an area that had previously been all developed. The old Morgan-Dorr Geldwin property was there, and when it closed and was demolished, the value went down significantly. And that's the purpose of this legislation. It's to recognize that certain tax increment financing districts have lost a significant amount of value. In our case, our South Shore redevelopment area between the Geldwin property and the Pioneer property, the district lost 25% of its value since 2005. And this legislation says if you've lost more than 10% of your value over a 2-year period, you're eligible to be considered for resetting the base value, because everything with a TIF district is based on the increment, everything above the base. Well, our base had dropped so low that we were going to need $5 million in development to get us back to zero before we could do it for anything. So I think the governor wanted to see a project that was actually going to benefit from that. And we could show him firsthand, look out the window, Mr. Governor, take a look at this. So he was really intrigued by why we were doing it and what we were planning to do. We had legitimate plans on the table. The Schwab Land Group showed the governor their preliminary plans for the area. He was really excited. He was excited to learn that we've used a lot of state grants to do the Riverwalk, was really excited that the group developing, now it's called the Morgan property, was willing to donate land to the public to return it back for the Riverwalk itself. So a lot of neat things that the governor wanted to see firsthand. And then, of course, he signed the bill and commented on the value that, from his perspective, what he had learned through the process, that a lot of cities were in this boat. But ours was kind of the showcase of the problem. So we were happy because not only was the governor here signing the bill, but all of our state legislators were there. Both sides of the aisle, Democrat, Republican, Representative Gordon Hintz, Mike Schra, and Senator Rick Gudex were all there. They all supported and sponsored the bill throughout the entire process. This bill, at one point, we weren't sure if it was going to make it through, but all the legislators were working both sides of the aisle to make it successful. So we're very appreciative the governor could be here, that he appreciates what we're doing to try to redevelop our riverfront, and that bipartisan support existed for this project. So we're really excited about what this means.
Excellent. And what better backdrop for that too, like you were saying, with the Geldwin area being right there. So yeah. Couldn't ask for better. Economic development update here. We talked a little bit last time about the new economic development division. What can you tell us right now?
Well, the council approved at the previous meeting reorganization to take some funds that we had set aside for economic development in previous years and apply it towards a full-service economic development department. What that means is that we are going to be actively engaging our business community to find out what their economic development needs are, because the services that we provide and that we've been providing for years, instead of contracting out for those services, we're going to be directly providing them. We feel that we'll be able to be more effective and primarily more accountable, because we spend $300,000-$400,000 a year on direct economic development services into the community, not including TIF dollars, which are millions of dollars, but directly involved in engaging businesses, finding out what their needs are, and then responding to those needs. And most economic development consists of local people expanding, local people getting started, and that's what we're going to be doing. Our goal is to reach 150 businesses a year. We're prioritizing these businesses. We're going to be meeting with them, and we're going to have 3 full-time staff members devoted strictly to economic development to serve the needs of bringing good paying jobs into the city of Oshkosh.
Yes, and I know we talked last time a little bit about those positions, the 3 new positions. One of them has actually been filled since we last spoke, and we're still recruiting for 2 more?
Right. We're recruiting for an office assistant position as well as the economic development manager. I think what we're probably going to do in the short run is probably hire an interim manager and then get things so we can get things started a little quicker without going through a formal process. So we'll get an interim manager in there and then get the groundwork laid so that we can start providing services. And I can tell you that there's been a lot of excitement already, got a lot of positive feedback from the business community, and some businesses have already said, we want to talk to you about what we can do to maybe expand our businesses. And so really intrigued by the interest that the business community's shown. And the whole idea is just to listen and develop relationships so that when they're ready to do something, we're available and ready to meet their needs immediately. And we've got a great relationship with the state, Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation. So we're on our way, and we're very excited about the prospects that we have for providing full service economic development.
Yes, and I think it's a really good point that you said at the beginning of your answer there with, really being accountable to the residents. And I think that says a lot, that to have a one-stop shop kind of area for economic development is just great. And I think a lot of people are wondering what the timetable is on this. Can we look forward to seeing this plan unfold within the next few months here?
Yeah, exactly. What I believe, getting an interim manager will help us hit the ground running quicker. Mm-hmm. So, we'll begin the process, certainly by May 1st.
Okay.
So you're going to see business visits start very shortly thereafter.
Wonderful. Well, on the topic with new positions, we've got a couple of new department heads starting here this month, actually. First one is Transportation Director Jim Collins. What can you tell us about him?
Jim joined us just this past Monday, was there at State of the City to introduce himself to the public, and we're going to introduce him at Tuesday's council meeting. Jim actually comes from the private sector. He's been involved in transportation for a good number of years, primarily in private sector logistics, delivery, mostly packages as opposed to people, but he demonstrated a really incredible knowledge of transportation logistics, which apply to public transit as well as the private sector applications he had. He lives here in Oshkosh, so no relocation. He was able to hit the ground running and tackling issues like traffic and parking and other things that are related to transportation that are not just transit. So looking forward to having him as part of our team and having him engage the community on issues of transportation, whether it's signals or street lighting or parking or, of course, transit.
Excellent. Sounds like a great fit, and bringing those skills from the private sector should benefit him as well, I believe.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. And then we have Trina Larson, our new finance director, which she has not started yet, has she?
No, but the reason you're tricked is because she was also at State of the City.
Was.
She was helping out and
she was helping me hand out name tags that night.
She was. She just said, "How can I help?" So
she's a worker.
Yeah, and she was, engaging with the public already. But we wanted to make sure that she met people at State of the City. Trina actually has a combination of both public and private sector experience. She's currently the administrative coordinator and finance director for Adams County. Also served in municipal utilities previous to that, as well as been in the healthcare industry. So accountant by trade, but has a variety of different experiences. And she told me some war stories that I could relate to, that she knows how to handle tough situations and challenging situations. And I think she's going to be a great fit for us, and looking forward to having her join us on April 7th.
Yes, I know we're all looking forward to having them both here. So that's going to round out our first half. Now it's that time of the show where viewers have the ability to ask their city manager, Mark Roloff, anything they want about things going on here in Oshkosh. So let's take a look and see what the question for Question Mark is this week. Mark, so the question this week is, when does curbside brush pickup start, with spring finally showing its face here?
The smart aleck answer is as soon as the snow stops. But brush pickup starts the first full week of each month, starting April 7th. So the first full week of each month, just like it's been in the past, into December. Pickup will be the same day as your regular waste collection day. Remember, brush has a diameter of less than 3 inches, must be tied in bundles, can't exceed 4 feet in length, or 50 pounds in weight. So manageable, that you can carry to the curb. The material can also be placed in those paper biodegradable bags. Plastic bags and other containers or loose leaves won't be collected either. So we also have that annual spring cleanup. Really, they're special pickups.
Couple bonus weeks.
Bonus weeks, especially in April and early May. So April 28th, the regular week of May 5th, and then another bonus week of May 12th will also be available for those pickups.
Yes, and all this information is also available on the website. So just log on to ci.oshkosh.wi.us and you can get a nice detailed list of things that you can and can't do for the curbside pickup. So if you'd like to send a question to Mark, simply email it to questionmark@ci.oshkosh.wi.us, and he will answer it on the next episode of City Manager's Report. So we're going to take a quick break right now, and when we come back, we'll go over the City Council meeting agenda for this Tuesday, April 8th at 6 p.m. We'll be right back.
Thinking about dealing drugs in our county? Think again.
Take it slow, take it slow, take it slow. When we see a roundabout, take it slow. Let me pick the correct lane and take it slow. When we see a car approach, we yield to the left. When we're in that roundabout, we don't pass anybody yet. Take it slow, take it slow, take it slow.
Visit WisconsinRoundabouts.com for more info from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
We're back on your City Manager's Report. Thanks again for joining us. And now it's that time of the show to go through the Common Council agenda for this Tuesday, April 8th, 2014. So let's get right into it, Mark. First up, Resolution 14-146, an approval for a change order for the Public Works Field Operations Facility. And I know when we were preparing for this show, I didn't know what a change order was. So first, if you maybe want to just give us a little background on that.
Sure. Change order is any change to the original contract that we already have with Myron Construction. Usually it's for something that, as you're going through the project, you see something and you recognize it. Maybe it would be a better way to do something. There are some items that we were planning to do in 2015 that it looks like it might be better to move that portion of the project up. We're also benefiting from the fact that we had some savings. What we identified a way to save over $100,000 was by us purchasing the materials for the building directly from the supplier rather than through the contractor. That saved us $100,000. So the net cost of this change order is zero because we have more savings than we have costs. But we're able to add some things. And second thought, we're going to use polished concrete instead of carpet in an area where we think is going to get a lot of traffic from workers. So little value items that we know will benefit us better in the long run. Or, and sometimes there's things you might overlook that you didn't think about. Say it would be better for us to do it this way versus that way. So there's the construction site going on.
It's coming along.
We're, by May 1st, we will be moving into a portion of the building and then tearing down some of the old stuff. So it's moving along, and I'm guessing that we'll have OCMS in there doing a little video.
Yes, we will.
More detail the next few weeks.
Mm-hmm. So really that's just kind of a little way of letting council know where we're at. Some different updates and changes going on throughout the process.
Yeah, making progress, and we're on time and under budget, and those are the words you want to hear for any building project.
Always positive words to hear during a project.
Yeah.
Moving on, Resolution 14-148, approve agreement with Wisconsin Public Service to participate in a grant program dealing with compressed natural gas vehicles, or CNG vehicles. What exactly is this grant going to be doing?
Well, Wisconsin Public Service has a settlement with the federal EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, where they are required to make some funds available for the purchase of alternative fuel vehicles. For us, it's really going to be about compressed natural gas. And they're going to be offering a flat amount of funds if you're replacing a light-duty trucker vehicle or a heavy-duty vehicle like a snowplow or a bus. And there's certain levels of money that are available. We have to agree that if we apply for these funds, we have to comply with the program. We have to evaluate whether or not this is going to be beneficial for us, but what we're agreeing to is abide by this. But what we're doing is we're asking all the departments to take a look at their 5-year capital improvements and identify vehicles that we are going to be buying these replacement vehicles anyway, and can we take advantage of compressed natural gas, which is probably 40 to 50% cheaper than regular fuel. So it's a great alternative fuel for us to consider.
Okay, so really what this one is, it's kind of to help pay for costs associated with the purchase of these vehicles?
Yeah, compressed natural gas vehicles usually cost a little more. So this is just cover that incremental cost. So hopefully there'll be enough of an incentive for us to buy these vehicles.
Great. Resolution 14-149, authorized grant application to the Wisconsin DNR having to do with stormwater management. And this is actually expanding a stormwater pond, is that right?
Right. We're always looking for grant opportunities, especially for stormwater ponds, because that keeps your stormwater rate down. If you notice, you go by the Shell Station McDonald's restaurant over there at Westtown and Washburn and Highway 21, there's a pond right in front of there, but there's a larger area that we think will benefit the larger area by making the pond bigger. And it qualifies for a grant, and we're going to apply and see if we can maybe help offset the cost of a pond that we have to put in anyway. And if we can get $150,000, $200,000, that's going to directly benefit our stormwater utility ratepayers.
Wonderful. And any kind of timetable on that one?
Well, if we apply now, it would probably be a design perhaps in 2014, 2015,
Right.
Construction in 2015 or 2016 probably.
All right. Ways away, something to look forward to then.
Yep.
Resolution 14-150, permission to apply for fire prevention safety grant. What is this grant for? I know it deals with fire prevention, but...
Well, that's the biggest thing. And one of the most important aspects of fire prevention is home safety, because we do inspections of commercial properties twice a year. We get those in, but we're not inspecting private homes. The best deterrent for a fire in a home is a smoke detector. So the largest portion of this grant, which is federally funded, that we're pursuing, is to literally promote and go door to door in target neighborhoods to say, look, we want to offer you a free smoke detector. We'll install it for you. We'll show you how to operate it, show you how to change the batteries, do all those things. But the whole idea is to encourage people to add that one safety feature to their house, which could be the difference between life and death. So fire department does a great job of identifying areas where they believe there may be a problem based on history of fires and history of other alarms. So they do a survey. If they have a fire call, first thing they ask, you have a smoke detector, yes or no? Okay, we'd be happy to provide you with one. And then they know an area that they need to target. So we're real excited that they're going to continue this program with this grant.
Great, very positive topic there. Ordinance, going down to pending ordinances here, Ordinance 14-164. We talked briefly about this before, amending special events pertaining to grounds for denials of permits. So what's the purpose of this one?
Well, after the council had a workshop with staff and staff took a look at it, we believe that it's appropriate for perhaps the council to, in some cases, deny a permit. And really it would be because the benefit to the community isn't significant enough. The demand for services exceeds the benefit to the public. It creates a significant inconvenience, those types of things. So it's given the council the latitude where they feel it's appropriate to deny a permit for one of those additional reasons that they have the ability to do so. And it kind of lets people know that if they're not planning an event well, sometimes it's as simple as that. It may not be that bad of an event, but they have not proven themselves to be reliable on carrying through on things. We want to be able to say, we're sorry, we can't permit this event.
Kind of looking at the question of, is it worth the resources, really?
Yeah, is the value there? And I think we have a legitimate responsibility to take a look at that.
Wonderful. Well, our last item to talk about on the council agenda here is Resolution 14-168, approval of special event for Waterfest. And this more had to be with concerns for parking, right?
Right. This is an event that has been around for years. That's not the question. It really had to do with the fact that the Waterfest series is moving some of their events to Friday and Saturday nights. On Thursday nights, it's great that we get people coming downtown because there aren't a lot of conflicts. But now with the convention center going and some other special events, such in this case the Gus Macker basketball tournament, council wanted to know that parking logistics were being taken care of because there's wedding receptions going on at the same time as Waterfest, and who's parking where are employees parking, where's Gus Macker parking. So council wanted to know that this was going to be worked out. We asked all the affected parties to get together and tell us let us know that they've worked these issues out. Our Parks Director, Ray Maurer, has been in a meeting with this group, and they believe they've worked through those logistical issues so that they can assure the council that we aren't going to have any problems the night of the event that would cause even more disruption of services to everybody. So it's a good resolution.
It's good news, and it's also a good problem to have. I know we were saying as we were prepping for the show, all these events, and if parking's the worst problem, then I think we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, so we just got to manage those things, but we'll get it done.
Wonderful. Well, it looks like that's going to wrap it up for this episode of City Manager's Report. Again, the City Council meeting is this Tuesday, April 8th, 2014. You can watch it live on City Cable 10 or on our website, oshkoshcommunitymedia.org. You can also listen to it on 101.9 WOCT. And make sure to like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter for all your community and government programming and updates. Or check out our YouTube channel for government meeting replays and past episodes of your favorite programs. Don't forget, if you have a question for City Manager Mark Roloff, send it to question@ci.oshkosh.wi.us. Thanks so much again for joining us on your City Manager's Report, and we'll see you next time.